Hello and welcome. This is Ruth, and today I've got another of Tonic's 2023 birthday week launches, and this is the really beautiful Advent Town die set. So there are 68 dies here, and I've had just a quick look through them so far. I actually can't wait to get started making it, but I'm going to have a quick run through the dies, then I'm going to show you what I'm going to use it with, and I'll start die cutting and we'll come straight back and get right into it. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd really love you to do that. You'll be able to keep up to date with all of the birthday week launches and everything else that's coming up, and hit the notification bell, and that will keep you up to date with everything. And if you do enjoy it, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment if you've got time, because that's always a great encouragement and lets me know what kind of things you're liking and how you enjoy the videos that I make. Thank you very much for that. There are 68 dies, as I said, and lots of these can be used not only for this little town, which comprises of this larger building here and then the smaller one here, but you could use several of these for card making. This is a beautiful clock here which you could just cut off and use on its own. Likewise with this part here. Then you've got a little hexagon. That's actually the base for the tree here, because this actually makes a little 3D tree to go into the town as well. And then there are lots and lots of little drawers. You don't necessarily have to use those with all these decorative pieces. You can use them plain. As you can see there, they cut out plain. And you could definitely, I've had a look at this, so I think that you could cut off this panel and use this as a box on its own if you didn't want to add this on top. But you could also take these pieces off and use this outside edge like this. You could make a beautiful shaped card with that, keeping the fold here or joining two together, a really big Christmas card or a clock card. That would be really beautiful. But I also think that you could cut this part out, use the top of it, and then if you've got any little window dies or door dies or whatever, you could use those here without making this into drawers. You could cut them into the front and make a little town that definitely wasn't an advent calendar, and maybe put some little lights and things inside. That would be an extra way of extending that. It'd be really beautiful. We've got all these little decorations which you could use on the windows, or you could use them on the Christmas tree, or a mixture of both. But definitely these dies are absolutely beautiful. There's the numbers, as I said, for the little drawers, but those could be used for lots of things as well. And I really love this little edging that goes down here, because that definitely doesn't have to be just used for this either. As you know, I love to think of different ways that we could use these just to extend the use a bit, although this is a cracking set to do what it says already. I have to say, it's a really big set, and maybe you should take a little photograph of it. I've taken mine off the acetate that it came on, and I've put it on here. I've sort of looked at the dies as I was doing that, but you'll not get it back the way it came in the first place, because it's jam-packed full of dies. You can see here already, this one overlays this one, so they've just really packed everything in, and I've had to move them about a little bit to get them on here. I have them on my big magnetic stand because I'm going to be using most of these, or a lot of them anyway, and I don't want to lose them in the meantime. So as I said earlier, I think anyhow, I'm going to use this with one of the birthday week bundles, which I'm told will be available as well. I've picked out the Peacock bundle, and I'm just going to show you that, and then I'll start die cutting and be right back. This is the bundle, and it's really beautiful. I love the name, it's the Peacock bundle. That sort of drew me to it already anyway, because I love these colours. But we've got Turquoise Lake glitter card, Misty Grey texture weave card, Cobalt Velour satin effect mirror card, Princess Pink double-sided pearlized card, Gold Dust glitter card, Turkish Turquoise high gloss mirror card, and Mauve Purple texture weave card. And as if that wasn't enough, there's a lovely little 6x6 mirror card collection booklet, and this is called Blue Hues, and look, absolutely beautiful. And then we've got two little bottles of vintage drops, and this one is called Bohemian Teal, and this one is called Purple Basil. Now, I'll not be using all of these, obviously. I don't think so anyway, but you never know. But I will definitely be using some of them on my little village. And I'll be right back. In between the last clip and this clip then, I've gone ahead and I've done a step-by-step blog post showing how I made this one. And this is the smaller one obviously, and I'm going to make the bigger one in this video. But I've learned a lot of things that I can pass on to you that will maybe help you save some time. I've made the little building here and the little tree, and I'm really, really happy with the way they've turned out. First of all, I wondered if the Craft Perfect texture weave card was going to be strong enough for this box, but it definitely is. It's 216 GSM, but you're going to be adding layers onto it. I had started off actually with some 300 GSM card, and I changed and I went back to this, so it works really, really well because there's a lot of stability through the centre of this, because the little drawers or the little compartments are actually going from front to back, and they strengthen all of this, so it's really, really good. So this is 200 GSM Misty Grey card that I used, and I'm going to be using Mauve Purple for the one in the video. Second little tip is, if you decide to go ahead and paper piece these little pieces in, take a deep breath, take a big long think about it, because once you've started there's no going back. You can't add a few here or there or it's going to look silly, and just remember you've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 of them to do, and even more if you decide to do these. So do really think about that before you do them. It looks lovely, but it does take a minute or two to do it. Then the other thing is, don't feel the need to fold these back, because obviously you'll be able to slip in whatever you want to add into these little containers, little compartments, and it'll obviously look a lot better if you don't bend those back at this stage. I think I may have moved that one slightly. So there, that's that, and I've paper pieced these pieces. These were quite easy, and I think that's about it. I'll possibly show you how to elongate that, but I may not get round to that in it. Anyhow, go ahead and cut the two main pieces for this out, and while I'm at it, I'll just remember about this little tree in case I forget as I'm going on. I made this from mirror card and satin effect card. I even made the base from that as well. Well, it's definitely a lot easier to make it from normal card. There's no need for this base to be anything other than ordinary Craft Perfect texture weave card. It takes quite a bit to hold it and hold it all in place while the glue is taking, so no need for that at all, and I'll not be doing it again. I think if I make the tree itself from texture weave card and add panels in of mirror card or satin card, that will still be lovely. And again, you can make this 6-sided as it's showing here, but you can also make 3, 4 or 5 sides to it as well, and you can even use it flat with this little decorative piece on and the star above it on a card or a tag as well. Right, let's get on to the little building, or the bigger one as I'm making this time. So I've cut the main shape out twice. That was using this big die, but as I say, you could definitely go ahead and make a card from that. I would use 300 GSM card if I was going to make an actual card blank from it. You could add a little piece of card inside, just fold it over, and this could go back like this. I would add a second piece of card in behind there, so when you open these up you can see something in through it. Or if you didn't even want to do that, you could have 2 fronts like this and decorate that some way, and you wouldn't have that die cut there. So that's another option for that one. Anyway, we've got our first one. This is going to be the back, this is going to be the front, and I've cut them both with that. Now we need to go to this panel, and this is the one that cuts the little doors into it. So you'll lay that on and tape it down and run that through the die cutting machine, making sure that you've left enough room to put this one in and everything is well balanced and coordinated. And if I was putting that through the die cutting machine, I would be putting the tape down here and here to hold it, and not on these doors, because you don't want anything to come off the surface of those doors. Now, before we go ahead and assemble all of that and add the little compartments and things in behind, we want to decorate this. So I have cut out these little drawers, and I was so glad to see that there are plenty of them this time and not just one that you've got to use multiple times. So I have cut those out in this beautiful blue satin effect card from the little 6x6 pad, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those all on there. I have the longer one ready here as well to go on the front, and then I'll come back in a minute or two with the top next layer and add the little numbers and things that I've die cut there already as well. that then. I actually changed this slightly because I decided that I would put the little fancy windows on this time instead of the plain parts that I've done on here. So I did that, and really I could just have, it doesn't really matter what's in behind them because I've covered them with this little oval. So unfortunately you don't really see the nice pattern, but you do see the lovely glittery sort of border around there. And I think you'll like this little addition this time. I've got the numbers on this little die, but there's also a set of extra 1s and 2s, and that's really, really helpful whenever you're cutting out all these numbers for the top of that. So I've done that, and now I'm going to sort out a little panel for the top. And you can see on this one I added the beautiful little clock, but I'm going to use a different panel for this one. For the back of this one then, I've used this die, and then I used this one along with this one and cut out that beautiful shape there in the glitter card. And I've got glue on the back of that, and I'm just going to pop that on there. I've taken this die and this one and taped them both together, and I cut that out in the beautiful blue as well and put it over the glitter card. And then I paper pieced it again, so I've set it on some gold card and cut out the pieces, and I've made the Christmas tree. I've paper pieced that back in, and the curtains with the gold, and I think I needed that bit of gold there just to balance the gold that was in the bottom of the box. To make the little compartments then that go onto the back of this and that fit right through to the back here, you can see them inside here. It's actually what you'll put the little gift or whatever in. To make those, you need to cut out 6 of these and 1 of this one. So that's these 2 dies, sorry, not that one, these 2 dies here and here, and this one will fit all of these, and this one then will fit here. So if you want this, you probably won't be looking inside it too much, you'll be more interested in the gift or whatever's inside there, but I would just fold these all in on themselves like that, so that the good side then is all facing each other, and that will be the piece that you see when you look through the front or into those little compartments. So I'll do that on them all. I burnish all these little fold lines then get folded back the way, because they are going to attach right in behind the panels here. What you're actually going to do is attach these on here like this, but all of these other pieces then will be glued together. So this little tab then gets folded over, and you'll glue that just on there and burnish all these other ones out the way. And just make sure that you get all of these really tightly glued together, because when you open those little doors you don't want to see any little gaps. So just take a minute or two and make sure you've got the glue, everything tidied up, and everything's all aligned so there's no little spaces. It's well worthwhile spending a minute or two extra just to do that. When you've got all of these ready, they should look like this, and you'll put glue on one side just on the tabs the whole way around there, and then we can just turn that front over onto the reverse and start gluing all these on. And just make sure you keep them really, really neat. So spend a minute or two just making sure you have everything lined up properly. You should be able to see it as you look through there, but the one thing you want to be very, very careful of is making sure that you're not actually gluing that little door shut at the front. So just turn it over, and then you can see there, if you've got your pokey tool it's much easier. There's mine. Just flip the little door open and have a little look in there, and you can make sure you've got everything all in the right place, and there you are, you're good to go. And you can continue the whole way around that, and then we have this longer one, and that's the one that you put on here just in behind the door. So I'm just going to carry on building all of this up and getting it ready to put the back on. Now before we put the back on, we can put the sides and the top and bottom on here. So you'll need to cut 4 of these panels, and as you can see there's only a glue tab on one side of it, so they fit continuously right around a bit with that glue tab. And if you were making the smaller box up, you would cut 2 of this one and then 2 of the smaller one, and the smaller one is for the bottom and the top. Now I have cut side panels the same as I did here. I have backed them onto the sides here. Actually, I'll show you what I've done. I've cut this out in the blue, and then I've used this and the other die together. That's this one in the glitter card, and I have glued that directly on top of that. And then I've paper pieced the little windowsills in the gold glitter card. So now I'm going to attach these to the sides, and this is very important if you're going to do this before you glue it all together. You must remember that one side will have the tab at the bottom, and the other one that you put it on, you'll need to have the tab at the top, because as I was saying, these tabs work their way around continuously. So you can either do that now or wait until you have it all together and then put the other tab on. But remember that one of them then will be going here. So all you have to do, it's very, very simple, is just go ahead and glue these tabs on and start working your way around. And remember to put a plain one on the bottom and these on the side. Whenever you're just about to attach the back onto this, just make sure that all of these are pointing up the ways, because you don't want any of them to miss catching onto the glue. So any that are turned in slightly like that, they're actually better being facing upwards more than downwards, because they can they'll flatten down once the glue goes onto them. But every edge then should be just sitting slightly upwards, and then I'll put glue the whole way right around all of that, all of the tabs everywhere, and then put this back on. I'd like to add an extra panel onto the back of that, but I don't want to put it the full size, this just directly over the top again. So I've cut a panel exactly the same size with this big die, and then I have put the smaller die for the top decorative part that I used here, and I have put that on the top of it here, but I don't want to cut that out of it. What I'm going to do is put this on my cutting plate like this, and then put the other cutting plate on it just up to here. Now I can move that up just to balance it a bit better, but I don't want this plate to come past this cutting line. I'm not sure if you can see that there, but the edge of the die is still here and won't be under the plate, so that won't get cut, but this other shape will get cut. So I'll put that through my die cutting machine now, and then I'll be right back. I've cut that now, but it's important, I just want to reiterate this, it's important to feed it through this direction so that this part won't be going through the machine, so it's only this area. So face first this way, I put it through the machine like this. Now all I'm going to do is trim off the sides down here, about ½ centimetre in at each side, here and at the bottom, and then I can just go out this little bit here with a craft knife, and that will be that panel ready to go on there. I've taken this little coin stone die and I've cut that out twice in the glitter card and put it on just right down here, and I like to leave that to the end instead of putting it on before I add those sides on, because it means that if there's a slight little piece of the edge showing, you can just move that slightly over, and that wee line, it's very, very fine, but it'll cover that for you, and that'll just tidy everything up. And I think it's best just to leave that to the end. Then I took these two little dies and I've cut them out a few times and put that along there. And lastly, just to finish it off and to tidy the top up a bit, I've cut this out twice in the glitter card, and I've put one on in here and turn this over, and you can see the other one's in there. Now that works twofold. It strengthens in here, and it also means that you can see it from the front there through here, and it's really, really nice. That the glitter card particularly looks really well with that. There you are, that's my second one finished. Now I'm going to go on and make another little tree. So this is the one I showed you earlier that I made with the mirror card, and I'll not be making any more of those. Ah dear, I've cut this one out 3 times, and I just wanted to show you that you can go ahead and make a 3-sided little tree. I don't think you even need the base in the bottom of this. You don't need any base because it stands up really, really well if you were to glue that. So what I've done is I've cut this out. I've actually cut it 5 times, and I'm going to show you that, or 6 times, sorry, and I'll show you that. But I have cut this out, and then I have cut these 2 little dies with the mirror card, and that makes much more sense than trying to glue mirror card to each other, because it just slides about all over the place. Then I have glued this in here on all of the panels, and then I've also folded up all of these score lines. I have taken the other little die, which is this one, and I've cut that out 6 times as well, and I've glued all of those together there, and I'm going to glue the last one on here and make a little loop with that, just like that. And then I've taken this die and cut that out in green again, fold all these tabs over and glue this on top, and that keeps that lovely little shape that you can then fit up into the tree. And I'll go ahead and glue all of that, and you can watch as I do that. Whenever your glue's all dried in that's another little gift box, and you can put something nice in that and hide that up inside there. Or if you want just a solid decoration and you don't need a little gift box, you can go ahead and do what I did with this one and just glue the bottom into that, and it's a really sturdy little decoration. And I've taken the little star die, so it's a tiny little star with a little stem on it, and I have cut it out twice and glued both of those together, and I'm going to just slip that down in the centre of those trees there, and that'll be my little decoration, and that's that one all finished. There we are, all finished. So I have the bigger house, the smaller building, house, whatever, and little gift box. And I think that turned out really, really well. I'm very, very pleased with it. I love those colours. So you can see there how you can go ahead and build up a full little village. You can make the 24 little windows that you would need, or you can leave off the numbers and just put little treats in. They don't necessarily have to be Advent, so anything would be lovely in there, a lovely little gift. And this is a really lovely little extra in it as well. Just think a lovely little surprise in there, that would be really, really nice. So thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I do hope that you will have a go at this. I think it's one of those projects that it's just going to take a little time. It's actually very simple to put together. It's very easy to cut out. I just think that you don't want to rush it, because these look really, really nice whenever everything's perfectly lined up inside, so it's better not to rush it and just make sure you get everything all aligned. Although it's actually quite simple to do, they more or less just slot into the right position in the first place, but do take your time and get it right and it'll look far better. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope you come back to see more of the stuff. I'm not sure what sort of what way these things are going on for birthday week, what order they come in, so this may be the first, it may be the last, but I know there's plenty of lovely stuff in birthday week. I've really enjoyed making what I've made so far, and I haven't actually finished, so I'm heading off now to make some more. But I hope to see you again soon. My affiliate links for all of this will be down below in the description of the video. I do get a little percentage of commission for that, and I thank you very, very much to everyone who uses those already. I always appreciate that. I always appreciate everybody who takes time to leave a little comment and give me a thumbs up as well. That's very, very much appreciated. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye bye.